Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Asim. I am working as a DevOps engineer. In this video, I am going to show you how we can set up the ELK stack, and all stack is going to be set up in Docker containers. So first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the script which I've written, and you just have to simply run that particular script. And as far as the concepts with regard to this ELK stack, which is going to be in fact EFK stack, Elasticsearch, FileBeat and Kibana, I'm going to clear those concepts, yeah, on AWS. So first of all, just I highly recommend you guys to simply watch that particular video, watch this video and till end, and your concepts are going to be clear. So I'm going to provide the link of these scripts which I have written. So let me just type ELK. So I have set up two repositories. Either you can navigate to AWS or either you can navigate to Docker. So simply search for ELK. So both are same. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to first of all show you the Bitnami ELK stack, which is uh, actually a proper ELK stack with Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. So if you're just looking for the ELK stack, which I'm not going to recommend that you should use ELK, because EFK stack is going to cover all the requirement for you to push the logs and all that particular stuff. So I'm going to show you that. So this is the ELK stack, proper Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. So if you are looking for the script which should be running the only ELK stack, so simply copy this script and run it. So I'm going to call this ELK and .sh, and I'm going to simply copy the script here and make it executable. So I'm going to give you a little detail what this script is going to do. So the script is running and it is the Bitnami ELK stack. Let me navigate to the scripting section. So okay, so this is the script. So what I'm doing here, I'm creating the custom network ELK, and I'm going to create 3 volumes, and I'm going to write a Docker compose file um, uh, to make sure that all containers are up and running, and I'm going to attach this network with these with this Docker compose YAML. I'm going to use the external network, so that is why I'm creating the external network. So if you want to launch other containers, you can launch in that particular network. So the communication between container are going to be available. So guys, you have to wait for a while. This ELK stack is up and running. If I do Docker compose, let me first of all see. Okay, if I navigate to ELK and if I do Docker compose ps, you will see all containers are up and running. So guys, this is the ELK stack, proper ELK stack, Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. If you are looking for this, you can explore it and you can try this. But the uh, main purpose of this video is that I should show you guys the EFK stack, which is the Elasticsearch, FileBeat, and Kibana, and I'm going to push those Docker container logs into that particular stack, and you will be able to see the logging of your containers. So I'm going to simply delete this machine, uh, and I'm going to create one new machine, and now I'm going to show you the EFK stack that I am talking about. So as you see, you don't have to do all that much configuration, and the detail with regard to the script I will definitely um, later I will guide you that what I am doing. So I'm giving you just a little bit hint. Okay, so this is the EFK Docker Compose stack, and what you have to do is to simply navigate to this EFK Docker Hub dot shell or EFK dot shell. So the difference in between those two scripts are the only images I'm pulling from uh, the official Elasticsearch registry, and these are the images I'm pulling from the Docker Hub. So it is not much big difference. So yeah, I mean the company is same, and those images are pushed by the same organization to that particular public registry. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply copy this any one of the script, and I'm going to navigate to this, and I'm going to call this EFK, sorry, EFK. I know you guys are a bit confusing that what is going on, and um, how we can use this script. So first of all, just see the video till end, and I'm going to definitely clear your concept on the AWS part in the same video. So just a demonstration that how easy it is. You have to just copy my script, and your concepts are going to be clear in few moments. So guys, we are running this time the EFK stack, and I'm going to then run one nginx container, and you will see the logs are going to be available in the Kibana. So you can easily visualize those logs of nginx. So let it run. As I told you in the start of the video, um, these are all automated stuff, so you don't have to do much. So what I'm doing here, I'm in this script I have actually um, removed the logstash part, and I'm using the file bit. So file bit is going to be running as a agent, which is going to push those logs to the um, Elasticsearch, and then it is going to be visualized in Kibana. So if I do docker ps-a, you will see that three containers are running. But if you click on 5061, Kibana is not going to be available. You have to at least wait about 2 minutes, then it will show. Okay, so currently the time is here about, let's say, it's around about 1 minute. So we have to wait at least 2 minutes, then it is going to show our the Kibana. So I'm going to configure the Kibana um, in front of you, so you will be able to know how to configure Kibana. It is pretty much simple. So 1 minute pass. If I simply navigate to reload, you will see shortly that um, Elasticsearch is going to be available. So what I'm going to do is to simply configure this Kibana. So in AWS section, let it run. So as I told you, you have to wait for a while, at least 2 minutes. So that is now fine. So I'm going to navigate to explore at my on my own, and I'm going to simply navigate to the stack management section. Okay, and here I'm going to navigate to the index patterns. We are going to create index pattern, create index pattern, and simply copy this. You see file bit is now available, so I'm going to simply paste this here and click next. Click on the timestamp, create index. See some stuff is happening just at this corner, and if I navigate to this section and simply click on discover, you will see some of the logs are going to be fetched which is with regard to the, excuse me, file bit container. You see, uh, these are log which are coming from the file bit container, and let me show you guys. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to launch one nginx container. So you guys are wondering that how we can visualize logs from different nodes or different containers in a separated nodes. I'm going to cover this part and just in a moment, and that is going to be on AWS. So what I'm going to do is to simply navigate back to that particular script, and if I scroll at the bottom, I've shown some examples, and with regard to the nginx, simply I'm going to copy this part and I'm going to simply copy this command here, and this is going to launch this nginx on port 0 on port 8085. So if I do docker ps-a, you see that our nginx is now up and running. So if I navigate to the Kibana section and if I simply refresh it, you will shortly see that our logs are going to be updated. And if I navigate to the search bar and type nginx, you see, and the movement with regard to the nginx container are available. Whatever one you see, all these details are available. So one thing with how it is happening at the backend, let me show you that. What I'm doing here, that I with the file beat, as I told you, file beat is a agent running in Docker container. What I'm doing here is actually mounted the socket inside that particular file bit container, and that is why and one Docker Compose YAML file. Further than that, I'm going to provide you the link that how you can, if you want to further read it, this is the link with regard to the, just let copy this, and this is the reference link, so you can do that. But I've done some additional mounting as well. Let me navigate to that section. Okay, if I navigate to file beat, docker exec have interactive shell in file beat. Okay, bash, is it available? Yeah. If I do docker ps-a, you will see docker is also available inside that particular file beat as well. So anyway, this is how you can visualize your log in docker container. Now I'm going to cover the real concept, how you can actually visualize your logs from a different or separate nodes. Excuse me. I'm going to clean this stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to navigate to the EC2 section. Okay, and what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to create one IAM role. Okay, so this role is going to be with regard to the Elasticsearch. Okay, create role, and it is I'm going to assume EC2 instance. Okay, create a policy, and I'm going to simply create one custom policy, you have to simply copy the provided JSON uh, by me. Okay, so I'm going to provide this JSON to you guys. Click on here. Simply now navigate to the Elasticsearch, FileBeat and Kibana section. So this is the Route 53 private hosted zone policy. We are going to use the private hosted zone, and I'm going to click this. Excuse me. I'm going to simply copy this policy and I'm going to paste it here, and it is going to give us secure access to the Route 53 private hosted zone. So it is pretty much safe policy. So I'm going to create this role. I'm going to create this policy. I'm going to call this Elastic search, and these are the permission. You see, there is no deletion there. So I'm going to simply create it, and I'm going to navigate back to this section. Simply refresh it and type Elastic, and I'm going to select this one, Elastic. Okay, refresh it. Let's see if it is created. Okay, yeah. So okay, let me just attach the policy. This is with regard to the console, and I'm going to now search for the Elastic. Okay, it's not showing, doesn't really matter. I'm going to create Elasticsearch role. Okay, now I'm going to simply attach. It is not showing in the search bar. If you navigate to the role and simply type Elastic and attach this custom policy we have created, Elastic, still not showing. Let me simply copy this name. Might be I'm doing some typo here. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to attach this. Sorry, attach this policy. So our role is created with the custom policy, and I'm going to give this console access. So what I'm going to do for the HA purposes, I'm going to simply create one launch template. And before doing this, okay, I'm going to simply create one private hosted zone. So I'm going to update this particular script as well, which I have provided you guys. So navigate to the hosted zone. You can navigate from here as well. Create a private hosted zone. I'm going to call this cloudgeeks.ca, and I'm not going to create any VPC here. So simply I'm going to use the default VPC, create this private hosted zone. So if you navigate to the hosted zone, you see this hosted zone is created. If you simply just scroll this here, this is the private hosted zone ID, and you have to simply copy this. So if I navigate to the launch template, and I'm going to simply create this Elasticsearch, SCAR, Elasticsearch, and you can say Kibana as well, Kibana. So that's fine. I'm going to use the Amazon Linux. Okay, instance type is going to be T3A small would be fine. I like T3A, and it is all depend on your choice. So no, in fact, you should go for the T3A medium because the Elasticsearch is going to consume memory. So sorry about that, I forgot it. So you must go for the at least medium one because Elasticsearch is the RAM hungry um, software, so you have to at least select for the medium. So any key pair you want to attach, and I'm going to create a key pair. Let's call this EFK, simply Elasticsearch file beta and Kibana. I'm going to create it. This is going to download. Okay, so I'm going to use this one. uh, okay, that's fine, leave it. Security group. Okay, create a new security group, and I'm going to just call this EFK, and call this EFK in description as well. I'm going to I'm not really concerning about the security here, so this is not the tutorial with regard to the security, and I'm going to leave all stuff open here. And so you see all ports are allowed, and custom all traffic, that's fine. Okay, okay, yeah, that's fine, all is here now. That is fine. Resource tag is fine. So click on the advanced details, and I'm going to attach one role here which we have just created, Elasticsearch, and I'm going to use this script. Simply scroll, navigate back, and click here EFK AWS, and click on this AWS Elasticsearch and Kibana. So also let me update the name as well. Is that here? Okay. So okay. Oh, should commit it. Yes. Let me correct it again as well. Sorry guys. Okay, I should do the commit as well. So this is the repository, just to remind you guys. Navigate to the Docker ELK. Okay. So this is the EFK AWS, and now this is the AWS section. Okay, just leave it. I'm going to simply copy the script, and guys, just to remember that you have to update that particular hosted zone, and you have to update the ID as well. So this is the section where you have to put this user data, and simply scroll it up. You can, if you don't feel comfortable, you can open all this in editor. I should be using the editor myself, so but I'm a bit lazy here. I'm going to simply update this ID, and I'm going to create this Elasticsearch cloudgeeks.ca um, domain, which is the private domain. Okay, private hosted zone. So as I told you that if you navigate to the route 53 and simply copy this, and I'm going to press Control V. All these two variable you need to update. Let me just simply bring this guy here. Okay. So in this section, I'm saying you guys to simply update this, update me. So what I've done here is updated this hoster zone ID, and I'm going to create one domain. That's it. You have to do that part, and you can use your name with regard to your custom private hosted zone. So I'm going to simply create it. And what I'm going to do is to simply navigate to this section, and simply I'm going to create this Elasticsearch. So what it is going to do, it is going to automatically update this record, and I'm going to simply create this simple record. Why I'm doing this? Because of the little high availability I'm looking for. So I've reduced the TTL to 10 seconds, and 1 2 3 4, that's fine. So it is going to update when this script is going to run, because the role is going to be attached, and the script is going to automatically update this private hosted zone ID. So we have successfully created the launch template. Hopefully, if everything goes well, we should be able to see Elasticsearch and Kibana is going to be running. So I'm going to simply create this Elasticsearch dash Kibana. Okay, so, and I'm going to use this launch template, and that is it. That is fine. Okay, for the high availability, I'm going to show you that that is fine. Three, okay, that's fine. 3 AZs are fine. So I'm not going to attach any load balancer to save the cost of load balancer, and desired capacity is going to be only one. And if I destroy this particular EC2 instance, and the new instance is going to be launched, and automatically that particular DNS is going to be updated. I will show you that part as well. If I click next, add tag, I'm going to call this Elasticsearch SCRCH Elasticsearch and Kibana. Okay, Kibana, that's fine. Create a auto scaling group. So it is going to spin up one EC2 machine for us in any um, of the AZs we have selected. So once this script is gonna run, you will see that this is the private IP of this, and this route 53 is going to be updated. So currently, definitely it is going to be uh, running. It is going to update this soon. If you navigate to the security section, you see this role we have attached and provided the relevant policy, and this is the security group. Okay, so we have to wait for a while. Let the status check to green, and if everything goes well, our route 53 is entry is going to be updated, and our Elasticsearch is going to be available. Sorry, Elasticsearch and Kibana is going to be available on this particular machine. So now we are looking for, we have done the setup to just make sure that our logs, container logs, are going to be visualized on this particular EC2 machine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new machine, and our services are going to be, container services are going to be running on that particular machine. And I'm going to use the FileBeat agent, which is going to be run in a container, as I told you in the start of the video, which is going to auto mount, like the socket mounting of the Docker is going to be in the FileBeat. So every container which is going to be launched into that particular machine will be able to talk to this machine. And with regard to that, I'm going to show you how the communication is going to be done. So if you navigate to the EFK AWS, you will see I've also created the FileBeat agent shell script. So let me give you understanding about this as well. So guys, this is the FileBeat agent shell script. as I told you in the start of the video, you don't have to do anything. You have to simply update me this stuff. um, I mean your domain which are you are going to set up in private hosted zone, as I shown you everything from the start of the video. So you have to simply update this. And how the communication is going to be working, you see that I'm using this variable, so this is going to talk to this Elasticsearch host. So and we are going to run this nginx container on a separate node or EC2 machine. So simply I'm going to copy this script, and I'm going to launch one EC2 machine and run this script on that. But first of all, if I navigate to the Route 53 section, if I refresh it, you see this Elasticsearch ID, error code is updated. And if I navigate to this and refresh it, and if I copy the public IP address, definitely you can set up all in the private um, hosted zone and in private EC2 instance, and set up the VPN as I shown you in my previous videos. You can do that as well. So I forget the port, I think is uh, 15 or 6 15, and let me just okay, navigate to, I forget the port of Kibana. Okay, 5601, sorry, 5601. No, mistake. Simply I'm going to paste again. Oops, again a mistake. One is missing. So you will see that Kibana is not ready, and it will be available soon. So if I navigate to this console section and enter into this machine, I'm going to show you that two containers which we have set up, which are Elasticsearch and Kibana, and to make sure that these containers are running. So you have to wait for a while. As I told you, 2-3 minutes are going to be, definitely uh, taken. So if I navigate to this section to see everything is working fine, if I do docker ps-a, so you see our containers are actually up and running, and we have to simply do the refresh. So if I navigate to the logs section, docker logs, Elastic search, you can either copy the IDs of the container or the name. So just to make sure that everything goes well, as I told you, it will take some time, as it is the resource hungry. As far as on Docker Hub, play with Docker, the RAM is too much. So as I told you, Elasticsearch is going to be take some time because of the RAM. So okay, if I do docker logs Kibana, let me simply paste it, the Kibana, okay, Kibana. So it says unable to connect to the Elasticsearch. So it is not able to connect to the Elasticsearch, and definitely we are using the private hosted zone, so it will take little more time. So let me navigate to the section Elasticsearch cloudgeeks.ca. Okay, and I have to check the port mappings as well. So guys, the issue was a little bit in the script. What I have done that I have allowed the internal communication between the two containers, which is of Elasticsearch and Kibana, as I'm using the custom network EFK. So now the communication is going to be between the Elasticsearch and Kibana is going to be internal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you that part as well. So let me simply close this stuff, and if I navigate to the instances, so previously I've terminated that particular instance, and I have updated the script as well, which means I've set up the new version of my launch template. So what I'm going to do is simply copy this IP address, and I'm going to simply paste it, and I'm going to look for the 5061 port, and hopefully we'll be able to see the Elasticsearch container. And now Elasticsearch on this EC2 machine. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna simply destroy this machine, and to make sure that our little bit of high availability without the load balancer is going to be working. So it is successfully terminated. So now it's gonna launch one new EC2 machine, and hopefully our this new um setup of Elasticsearch and Kibana is going to be available. So if I refresh it, you will see that once is completely terminated, and the autoscaling group is going to launch one new EC2 machine. And if I navigate to my um, Route 53 private hosted zone, and this private IP is going to be updated. So I'm going to pause the video. We have to wait for a while, and once it is launched, then I'm going to simply play that again. So guys, auto scaling group launched a new EC2 T3 medium machine, and it is going to run our user data, which is the script I have written for you guys. So if you navigate to this section, and if I refresh it, and there is going to be if I click it, okay, there are some double checks. Okay, so okay, refresh it. Running. So this is the private IP address 28.199, and once the script is going to be updated, it is going to update this private IP address in the private hosted zone. So see, this is updated, and it is now the same. So what I'm going to do is to simply copy this public IP address, and I'm going to look for the port 5061, and definitely it will take some time, and I'm going to simply connect with this machine as well. So it is just started, so we have to wait for a while to get things up and running. As I told you that Elasticsearch is pretty heavy. So if I do docker ps-a, you see that our two containers are up and running. So we have to wait at least 2-3 minutes, depending on the type of resource you spin up. For instance, if it is a large resource, it is going to be spin up quickly. So till then, I'm going to just show. I want to show you guys that what is happening here. So um, let it actually run. So you see now Kibana is not ready, and shortly you will see that inshallah our Kibana is going to be available. So you see now it is working fine. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna if navigate to the EC2 instance, and if I spin up one more EC2 machine, okay, and this machine is going to be the agent, and it is going to be, is a totally separate resource which is going to talk to this Kibana. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to launch one machine, T3A. T3A medium would be fine. Okay. Okay, I wanna attach this role with this because it is going to look for the Route 53 for the URL elasticsearch.cloudgeeks.ca. So I'm gonna call this name file beat, and here this is the agent, and I'm going to run my different containers on that, like you can say that your um, applications. For instance, I have a web application called this nginx, and I'm going to run on this machine. So okay, I'm going to use the same security group. So as far as the security, you can use different stuff. So I'm going to spin up this one, and it is now up and running. So I'm going to simply now um, look for the running ones. Okay, uncheck it, click the running. So we have our Elasticsearch is up and running, and I'm going to simply configure it the same way we have done in the start of the video. So I'm going to navigate to the stack management, navigate to the index pattern. um, okay, so yeah, you will see file bit is not found because it is just the um, Elasticsearch and Kibana. So now our aim is to set up the index pattern for our other container which we are going to run on this agent. So this agent file beat is going to push the logs to this EC2 machine. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to simply connect with this machine, and I'm going to run that particular script, and this script is going to be this time file beat agent shell. So little bit detail with regard to this script is that as I told you in the start of the video, that it is going to look for this domain elasticsearch .cloudgeeks.ca as this route 53 is updated, so it's gonna found this, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you as well. If I simply copy this and use a curl command, okay, as I told you, in this new EC2 machine. um, Let me show you this one. This is the um, ID, instance ID AD0. You see, this is the AD0. So if I do sudo -i, and if I do simply do curl http um, elasticsearch .cloudgeeks.ca 9200. So you see, it is able to find that particular machine which is running here. So we are going to push our logs. So what I'm gonna do, is simply call this file beat call this agent dot shell. So I'm going to simply click draw here, and excuse me, and I'm going to simply insert here, sorry. So chmod plus x and file bit is going to be executable. So it is gonna run all the installation with regard to the Docker Compose, whatever it is required. I've already baked in all the stuff. And as far as the mounting of the sockets, I've already shown you um, in the play with Docker. So as I should say, this is more of a deep dive how you can use the ELK stack if you want to use in your cloud AWS environment. But my recommendation is that you should use the logging driver, which is the CloudWatch. So if you are very much, reluctant not to use CloudWatch, so this is for you. If I do Docker ps-a, you see it is up and running. And if I do Docker logs file beat, I have to look for the logs that it should be able to find that particular you see URL just at the bottom. You see it is looking for this particular URL. So if everything goes well, we will be able to see this index in it. Let me just simply refresh it, and I'm going to create index pattern. You see file bit is now available, and that is really cool that now file beat is available. And what I'm gonna do is simply configure it the same way which we have done in in um, in a Docker hub in play with Docker. So I'm going to create this index pattern, and once it is gonna done, I'm going to navigate to this section and I'm going to click discover. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna launch my application, but you can launch any application to push those logs to this Kibana. But I'm gonna launch one nginx container to push those logs to this machine. Okay, if I navigate to, I'm going to close this. Okay, you have to just refresh it many times. As I told you, my recommendation for launching a large EC2 machine, so this Elasticsearch is take a lot of resources. So medium is going to be uh, might be choking your resources. So I'm going to simply click on discover again. So guys, as I told you, you have to wait for a while, at least 4 or 5 minutes. Now logs are started coming. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna launch and the next container onto this machine. So, and those logs are going to be pushed to this Kibana. Um, as I told you, that you have to look for the large instance, but my recommendation is CloudWatch, because there is administrative burden and you have to manage all that particular stuff, and it might be more costly as compared to the CloudWatch. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to simply one EC2 sorry one Docker container here, and if you scroll down you see that I've already pasted the code to run this, and I'm going to run my application. And so I just want to visualize these nginx container logs in Kibana. So as for the high availability, as it's shown you, if this machine goes down, so the IP address of this particular machine is going to be updated through this route 53, and this DNS resolution, which is going to be while it is looking for the elasticsearch.cloudgeeks.ca, it is going to be working. So if I refresh it here, and then I'm gonna look for the nginx. So guys, you see my logs are, I'm able to see the timestamps, the logs, whatever I want to see with regard to this particular container from this EC2 machine. I'm able to push my logs to Kibana. So this is the long video with regard to the detailed description that what we are doing. So um, but actually I've provided you the scripts, so it will not take about 10 to 15 minutes to set up. I mean, you have to simply copy paste the script and do the required stuff, whatever you want to do with regard to the AWS or in a single machine. So that is it from my side. If you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe the channel, and share as much as you can. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.